Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Can everyone hear me? When COVID hit Los Angeles, we did not know the full scale of what we were up against. But we knew as a government that we needed to do everything we could to help people survive both literally and economically. We knew we especially needed to help the working poor, mostly Black and brown communities. I know the daily struggle of the working poor. People who have worked for decades to escape poverty, working in back of houses in restaurants, looking after other people's children, and working in factories. All of this only to run into the risk of facing it again during this crisis. These are the people who are the heart of the City Council's Family First agenda. Last year, when we received the CARES Act funding, the council worked quickly to establish programs that would provide direct assistance to Angelenos. We created grants for rent, childcare, utilities, small businesses, and nonprofits. We funded these programs because we knew it was the best way to help Angelenos. Through this pandemic, a roof over their heads, childcare for parents who were forced to choose between work and their families, and internet for kids who continue to learn from home, and relief for their businesses. I am proud to say that we created the largest rent relief program in the country. And because of our $103 million commitment to rent assistance, we were able to help 49,000 families to pay their rent. Yet, there are tens of thousands of families that are still in need of assistance. President Biden's $1.3 trillion economic package shows the federal government actually realizes that this is a framework to be able to lift families up from poverty. It shows that the city of Los Angeles knew all along that these were the types of programs that working families need to make it through this pandemic. I am excited to say that the second round of COVID-19 Emergency Rental Relief Program will begin taking applications on March 30th. In this round of this new program, the city has received $259 million in funding, more than 2.5 times the amount that we received during the first round. With the funding, we will be able to provide direct rental assistance and more money for our eviction defense program. A year into the pandemic, 90,000 Californians are still behind their rent. The city's unemployment is still over 10%, and families in our city owe anywhere between $4,000 and $7,000 in past rent due. This assistance will not only support families that are behind their rent, it will also allow people who are living paycheck to paycheck to actually provide for their families. But it's also really critical to mention that it's also going to help mom and pop landlords who are also struggling during this pandemic to pay for their mortgage. We are prioritizing those desperately in need of help, and with a combined household income at or below 50% of area median income are those who are going to be able to qualify. This program will bring working families one step closer to recovery. Even after this round of funding, our work is far from over. This pandemic has been devastating for our families, and renters in Los Angeles need additional help and support as we continue to recover. This is why we will work together to continue funding our eviction defense and right to counsel programs in the city of Los Angeles to make sure that families remain in their homes, because this city council is dedicated to helping residents pay, plan, and prosper, pay for their rent, plan for their after this crisis, and be able to prosper down the road, which is a very long road ahead of us. I will say a few words in Spanish, and then I'll introduce our speakers. El año pasado, cuando recibimos los fondos de la ley CARES, el Consejo Municipal trabajó rápidamente para establecer programas que brindarán asistencia directa a nuestras familias, programas para para asistir con la renta, cuidado de niños y ayuda para los negocios pequeños. Financiamos estos programas porque sabíamos que nuestras familias iban a necesitar nuestra ayuda. Me enorgullece decir que hemos creado programas que ayudan directamente a los inquilinos en más necesidad de pagar su renta. Y este programa es el más grande de este país. Gracias a nuestro compromiso de $103 millones para asistir en la renta, pudimos ayudar a más de 49,000 familias para pagar su renta el año pasado. Sin embargo, 10 de miles de familias que todavía necesitan nuestra ayuda y tenemos que seguir enfocarnos en ellos. Estoy muy emocionada de decir que la segunda ronda del programa de asistencia de renta para inquilinos comenzará a recibir solicitudes a partir del 30 de marzo. En esta ronda del programa, la asistencia de renta de emergencia de la ciudad recibió $259 millones en fondos, 2 veces y medio la cantidad que recibimos en la primera ronda del año pasado. Con estas financiaciones podremos proporcionar asistencia de renta directamente a las familias más necesitadas y también podremos ayudar con la defensa contra el desalojo. Un año después de esta pandemia, 99,000 californianos todavía están atrasados en pagar su renta. El desempleo en esta ciudad supera el 10% y las familias de nuestra ciudad deben más de $4,000 a $7,000 en renta atrasada. Esta asistencia no solo apoyará a las familias que están atrasadas en su renta, pero también podrán ayudar a los propietarios de estas viviendas durante estas dificultades de este año. Damos prioridad a los inquilinos que necesitan ayuda desesperadamente, aquellos que tienen un ingreso familiar combinado o inferior al 50% del ingreso medio de la área. Incluso después de esta ronda de dinero, nuestro trabajo está lejos de terminar. Esta pandemia ha devastado a nuestras familias y a los inquilinos de Los Ángeles más necesitados de nuestra ayuda. Por eso es que trabajaremos juntos para continuar financiando nuestros programas de defensa del desalojo y el derecho de un abogado para asegurarse que nuestras familias permanezcan en sus hogares. Porque este concilio está dedicado a ayudar a los residentes a pagar, planificar y prosperar, pagar sus rentas, planificar para después de esta crisis y para poder prosperar en el futuro. Muchísimas gracias. And now it's my pleasure to introduce one of our strongest partners in establishing this rent relief program during COVID-19. It's our mayor, Eric Garcetti. Thank you.
That's a serious one. Well, thank you so much, Council President, and good morning to everybody. I haven't been in front of a bank of cameras like this in nearly a year, so welcome. It's my pleasure to co-host together with the Council here and these champions of opportunity, of justice, you back in the people's house here. We definitely can feel hope on the horizon. We can feel it in vaccinations that are going into people's arms and money that is going into people's pockets. And that's what we celebrate here today. Each day we see light that's illuminating the dark days that we've lived through, and new reasons to feel optimistic about the days ahead. But our work is certainly cut out. We see in the statistics of COVID cases and hospitalizations going down and going to Angelino's arms, but it's difficult to speak of pure optimism today when we saw what happened yesterday, if I can just say something briefly, in Colorado, where we saw yet again another mass shooting in a city that had attempted to take up the leadership that the federal government has been unable to pass. Boulder, Colorado had put an assault weapons ban forward that was overturned by a court just days ago. We see that crazy brew of this year and mental health and access to guns and the tragedy, including one police officer who was responding to the scene and who died. Between this and what we saw in Atlanta, which was a brew of not just access to guns, but perhaps the targeting of our AAPI community, of women. This is enough, and we mourn today and have our flags at half-staff to mourn the victims, including the police officer in Boulder who gave his life, and our thoughts and prayers are with them. But as we look throughout this moment, there is a cause for some happiness. And as I said at the beginning of this pandemic, no matter what happens, this city government, this city council, my office would never stop working for Los Angeles and for Angelenos. We would protect lives, we would protect livelihoods, and we would lead. And that means that nobody should lose their home because of a pandemic, that nobody should be forced to wonder what it would be to join the numbers of Angelenos who are unhoused. And that goal is more urgent than ever. When I sat down with a champion last year, after we begged Washington successfully to include cities over $500,000 in direct relief with CARES Act, when that CARES Act money came to us and we were paying for masks and we were paying for tests, Council President and I both agreed we needed to pay for rent as well. And not only $103 million in direct rent, but working with this council also $50 million in utility assistance, $75 million in privately raised money on top of that through the Angeleno card and other efforts, have already resulted in more than $200 million of assistance. Add to that today $259 million, which will leverage 20% more because it pays 80% of the rent and the landlord pays 20%, means that we'll add another $300 million plus in canceled rent for people, in mortgages paid for people. And as we see with the American Rescue Plan, this is, remember, from the December legislation that we're paying this from, American Rescue Plan doubles down on that. So when the state came to us and said we can do a state program or a local program, we said, why don't we combine them together? And in doing so, we have both our direct allocation and the state allocation for our people, adding double the amount, which will double again. I know that's a lot of numbers, but if you add it all up, it's more than $700 million in direct assistance to help people pay their rents and basic necessities. We estimate that may be more than half of all of the rent owed by those who are 50% of the area median income or less in our city. That is the record of all of our lobbying, the record of all of the voices of the American people and of leadership in Washington that finally stepped up. Thank you, Council President Martinez. Thank you, Councilmember O'Farrell. Thank you, Councilmember Bonin, and all of your colleagues for being such strong voices in this program. And the nice thing about this is it goes backwards. It's from April 1st of last year to March 31st of this year, your rent. So it's not just about paying a month of rent or two forward. It's about erasing that debt that is stressing out families today, that wonder whether or not they will be able to make their back rent, not just this month's rent. It combines with legal assistance that we have. It combines with the moratorium on evictions that we have put forward. And I want to also thank the Housing Community Investment Department. You'll hear from Anna in a little bit, who can answer all of your questions on the logistics. These things are really tough to pull off. Remember when the governor added assistance to our undocumented immigrants and the great community organizations that stepped up as a part of it? Everybody's phones crashed and nobody could get through for a couple days. This city has stepped up, the city council, this department, folks in my office. I want to especially thank my deputy chief of staff, Mary Hodge, to make sure that we have the capacity when those calls come in to get people the assistance that they need. And I urge landlords to say yes, because if they don't say yes to this, tenants will get direct relief at 25%, which means that they can't be evicted. So you have a choice between either helping get much more money from the federal government for you to pay off your mortgage and to erase this rent, or not doing it, and those tenants cannot be evicted. That debt becomes consumer debt, not rent debt. So we hope every landlord will do the right thing, step up, and be a part of this program as well. This on top of housing more than 8,000 additional unhoused Angelenos this year. This on top of the work that we've done on testing and now on vaccines. This is critical to our recovery, and I want to thank everybody for making this possible. And I'll say some briefer remarks as well in Spanish. Desde el comienzo de la pandemia, hemos dicho que nadie debe perder su hogar por el COVID-19. Y ahora ese objetivo es más urgente que nunca. Por eso es un gran placer anunciar hoy que Los Ángeles va a recibir $259 millones en asistencia federal de alquiler. El año pasado, gracias al liderazgo del presidente del Consejo Martínez, sus colegas, Los Ángeles tenía el programa de asistencia del alquiler de emergencia más grande en el país, más de $100 millones. Y nuestro fondo de $103 millones impactó a más de 49,000 hogares de bajos recursos que recibieron asistencia. That's a good stat in English too. It was 49,000 families we helped. That was with 103 million. Think of what we'll do when we have 259 now, and with the American Rescue Plan, probably another 250 million coming shortly. Lo hicimos aquí inspiró a la nación. Estoy orgulloso del liderazgo de nuestra ciudad y estoy optimista sobre el futuro. Esta asistencia de alquiler traerá tranquilidad y seguridad a miles de angelinos. Significará una oportunidad de avanzar libre de la carga de una deuda de alquiler. Quiero que todas sepan, su ciudad seguirá aquí para ayudarles en cada paso del camino mientras nos recuperamos y reconstruimos. Gracias, and with that, it's my pleasure to hand over to my colleague and one of our strongest voices for economic justice in this city, Mitch O'Farrell. Mike Bonin. I think it was Mike Bonin, then it was Mike Bonin. I was describing both of them. Mike Bonin. We're a little rusty. I thought when I had a finish, but it was... I was describing you.
Say something nice and just fill in the blank with whatever name is next.
This in-person stuff is just so weird.
That was awesome. Somebody please put the blooper reel on YouTube later. Good morning, everybody, and thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for those kind and so unique words in describing me, as well as Council President Martinez and my colleague, Mr. O'Farrell, and Anna from HSID. I'll be fairly brief. I'm a little out of practice at this. We haven't done this together in a while. First time I've been with these people in a year in person. So let me just say this. If there's a singular message from today, it is a message to renters in the city of Los Angeles. To the renters of Los Angeles, help is on the way, relief is here, and the city of Los Angeles has your backs. In the city of Los Angeles, renters are not a small demographic. Renters are a majority of the people in the city of Los Angeles. And a year ago, when this pandemic started hitting, the mayor knew, and Nury knew, and Mitch and my council colleagues knew that we were going to be called upon to do things bigger and bolder and differently than we have ever done before. That coronavirus wasn't going to be just a public health crisis, but it was going to be an economic and a social crisis. And we were going to be called to act and do things we had not been asked to do before, and that we did not even know that we had the resources and the ability to do before. And we knew we were going to have to step up, and first on the agenda, in those very early days, when Nury and the mayor and I were meeting with activists and community groups, first on the agenda were the concerns of renters, tenants, and working families in Los Angeles. Because we knew that if we were not standing up for renters, we were not standing up for families. We knew that if we were not standing up for renters, we were not standing up for kids. We knew that if we were not standing up for renters, we were not making an investment in public health, and we were not making an investment in preventing and eventually solving homelessness. A few years ago, I guess it was 5 or 6 years ago now, Nury and Karen Price and Mayor Garcetti and I worked on creating the first $15 minimum wage in a big city in this country. And it set a seismic chain reaction in place where California approved it and other cities in California approved it, and it spread. And at the time, I remember looking at Nury and saying, this may be the most significant and impactful thing we ever do as elected officials. Well, we have now topped it with this program today. What was the biggest and most impactful renter relief program in the country is now continuing and expanding and going on steroids. And that really is because of the incredible commitment of President Martinez and Mayor Garcetti and Mr. O'Farrell and my colleagues on the City Council, and the incredible, incredible support of our state and our federal government. Thank God we finally have a sane person and a responsible person in Washington, D.C. And I should just end by saying this. This is just the beginning. This is just a down payment on what this city is going to continue to do for the people of Los Angeles. We have in this pandemic been faced with our generation's Great Depression, and we are trying to respond with our generation's New Deal. The New Deal wasn't one program, it wasn't one effort, it was a continuing series of efforts over a period of years, and this is part of that. And I'm honored to be a part of such an amazing group of people trying to get that done for the people of Los Angeles. And with that, let me introduce my colleague, one of the most powerful advocates for, what is it, economic justice in the city of Los Angeles. Someone who actually, at the beginning of this pandemic, like Ms. Martinez, stepped up and started to put his own office's resources into immediate renter relief. Mitch O'Farrell.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you, Ms. Martinez, President Martinez, and thank you, Mayor Garcetti. And thank you to the media for reporting on this, because you're here, more people are going to know about this, more people who really need to know about this incredible renters relief program, which we are more than doubling the original $103 million. And as the mayor said, through the American Rescue Act, we will likely perhaps double it again. It's all about keeping people housed and fed during the pandemic and as the pandemic eases. Back in September of 2019, I co-hosted a summit on poverty with Ana Ortega's team at HCID. And this was months before the pandemic hit, months before we even knew that there was a COVID virus running rampant. And before it, of course, it hit our shores. And we knew then that 58% of renters in Los Angeles were rent burdened, and a good percentage of those renters were at risk for eviction. We've known this for a long time. The pandemic hits and it exposes all of the deficiencies in our social safety net. And so my team and I regrouped, we pivoted right then and there in March of last year and said, our new objective, our priority in office is to keep people housed and fed, and we've been doing just that in cooperation and collaboration with the full City Council and the Mayor's office. So, as Mike mentioned, Nury Martinez and myself identified $1 million each in our own district. We reallocated discretionary funding to keep about 500 households housed through a subsidy of our own creation. That then became the seed for the first rent subsidy program, the $103 million. So since that time, we have not only helped renters, 49,000 households, a little more than that, but we've also helped the landlords make sure that they don't fall into arrears and end up losing their own property so it gets gobbled up by a corporate-owned entity. And then you have what we had a little over 10 years ago during the Great Recession, and you had LLCs and corporations buying up apartment buildings across Los Angeles. So this subsidy that we're now more than doubling will help another around 60 to 80,000 households in Los Angeles. And it's more generous than the first subsidy. We know that on average, renters are in arrears by between $4,300 and $7,000 over the past year. This subsidy will help cover that entire cost for most of the renters who qualify. And again, it's below 50% of average median income to qualify. So we're very, very pleased with this. We're excited about it. We are meeting the moment. We're all participating in food distribution efforts and have all year long. This will continue throughout 2021. And now we're doing vaccination clinics in our own districts as well. Mine continues this week in East Hollywood. So this is about city leaders, all of us coming together and meeting the moment that is before us. And someday, well into the future, we'll be able to look back and have a little bit of pride for pivoting, making sure that our focus is taking care of the most vulnerable. And that's exactly what this continuation and enhancement of the existing subsidy does. So to explain a little more about the details, it's my great pleasure and honor to introduce someone that we all look up to and have deep respect for, and the department that she is part of, the Housing Community Investment Department, and that is Ana Ortega, who's going to talk a little bit about the details of this program. Ana.
Mike, she's a real champion of economic justice.
That she is.
Good morning. On behalf of the Housing Department, it is my pleasure to stand here with this leadership team from our city, our mayor, Council President Nury Martinez, Councilman Bonin, and Councilman O'Farrell. They have been so supportive of the renter assistance programs that we have implemented, and we are super proud and excited of the new renters assistance program that we're launching at this time, starting Tuesday, March 30th from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. The new call center will be available, and the applications will be live online. The best place for renters and landlords to apply is on the HCID LA website. That's hcidla.lacity.org. All of the information is there. The application will be there. You can go there even today, and there's the FAQs and information about the program and how to apply. It's our hope that renters and landlords are able to complete the application online, but if they are not, they will be able to submit their applications by phone, and later on when they need to verify their eligibility, they will be able to go to one of our 16 family source centers to complete their application. So we have different kinds of help available to people, whether it's online, on the phone, or in person, in order to complete their applications for their much needed rental assistance. So in this round, unlike the first round, landlords may also apply on behalf of their renters and submit the renters' information so that we can get in touch with the renters and help them to qualify for the program. So again, we're starting March 30th, a week from today, and applications will be open through April 30th. So there'll be a whole month during which renters and landlords may submit their applications. So that's kind of the nitty-gritty details that people need to know in order to start their application. Thank you very much for this opportunity to talk about this fantastic program.
Thanks, Ana.
Preguntas?
Okay, that concludes our press conference. Are there any questions? The 80-20, Anna, the 80-20 split.
So under this program, which is set up under the program set up by the state of California under SB 91, the program will wipe out 100% of a renter's debt, accrued rental debt, from April 1st, 2020 through March 31st, 2021. The way this will be done is the program asks the landlord to accept this payment in full for that rental arrears due during that period. The program will pay the landlord 80% of the rent, and the landlord will forgive 20% of the rent. For the renter, that means 100% of their rent is wiped out. The landlords will be able to accept 80%, and their contribution for this is forgiving the 20%. Should landlords choose not to participate, then the program will pay the renter directly the 25% of the rent accrued during that time period. And that 25% is sufficient to protect them from eviction under the current eviction rules under SB 91. Absolutely.
En español.
So the program is open to all renters in the city of Los Angeles, regardless of their immigration status. We will have the phone number available on Tuesday, March 31st. For right now, the best place to go is to our webpage, hcidla.lacity.org.
Let me just say in Spanish too. Keith, I'm gonna go.
Ana, you want to speak Spanish?
Yeah, she's-
Mejor Ana que le explique los requisitos y dónde pueden aplicar.
Buenos días. Para este programa no es importante el estado de inmigración de los inquilinos. Se ofrece a todos los inquilinos de la ciudad de Los Ángeles. Y para información y cómo aplicar y todo eso, pueden ir al internet del Departamento de Vivienda, que es hcidla.lacity.org.
Your name and last name again, please.
My name is Anna Ortega. I'm the Interim Assistant General Manager of the Housing and Community Investment Department.
The prerequisites.
Yes. Sí, cómo no. Los requisitos son que este programa es para residentes de la ciudad de Los Ángeles. Quiero hacer muy claro que es para residentes de la ciudad de Los Ángeles. Hay otro programa para el condado, pero en este es para residentes de la ciudad de bajos ingresos, del 50% de la área, del ingreso de la área de Los Ángeles, que para una familia de 4 ese es un ingreso de $56,000 por año. ¿Quiero leer otra cosa?
And the county
Y es para personas que han sido afectados por la pandemia que estamos sufriendo y que han tenido menos ingresos en este año.
outside the city.
Ana Ortega.
Ana Ortega.
And just really quick for the county, because I know whenever we do these press conferences, people who don't live in the city say, what do I do? For residents in the county who are not part of the city, the county has opted not to do its program, but to put its money in with the state. So the state program, which there were different options. You could either combine the state money and bring it to you for your own program, as long as you played by those state rules. So when you ask that question, that 80-20 wasn't the design of the city, it's the state design. Okay? Or you could say, we'll give you ours, and why doesn't the state administer it? So if you live in the county, the state will be announcing, probably together with the county, how you get rent assistance. We don't know those details, but I assume it'll be similar to this because it'll be state run. Yeah. Sure. Let the council member for the district speak to him.
We began vaccinating people at Echo Park Lake last month, for starters, and all CDC guidelines have been followed and will be followed, as we have already placed well over 100 people indoors under a roof. We'll continue that, and the park will close for repairs. There are nearly $600,000 of damage, and so we need to make the environment safe to make those repairs. And when we reopen, the park will be a safe environment for all park visitors. But all CDC guidelines are being followed, and we're actually housing everyone who has been there since January. It'll close soon, and notices will go up, and then we'll all know. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. I know that I speak for this entire city family, that what we've seen, a near doubling of hate crimes against Asian American and Pacific Islander communities, has no place in Los Angeles. Our police department, our community groups are encouraging folks to report. Last year, we saw 3,800 incidents of hate and hate crimes that were reported against Asian American and Pacific Islander community members. We know that number is much, much higher. We know of an attack that happened in Koreatown and words that were said. We know that many people don't report it because of fear, or they're like, well, it wasn't a crime, but somebody said something. We now have a civil, human rights, and equity department that is tasked with not only taking on these issues, but civil penalties, and if that happens in the workplace, denial of service to folks because of who they are. We saw this at the beginning of the pandemic, and we're footsteps away, by the way, this is not something new. We're footsteps away from the largest mass lynching in American history in 1871, when Chinese residents of Los Angeles were killed en masse. This is where we've had Japanese Americans taken from their homes, their property seized during World War II. This is something that we must make sure disappears in Los Angeles, but it starts with reporting, and we're going to be continuing to put resources in to help community groups get that word out in multiple languages, that if something happens to you, we need to know, and if there's a criminal act that happens, there will be penalties, and if there's a civil action, we will take penalties and give those to you as well. Thanks, Emma.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.